What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. Today we've got my first NBA 2K20 demo kind of video. It did take a while because if you're Australian you would know that the servers weren't working for Australians. No one in Australia for the first about 36 to 48 hours could access the demo. We could go into 2KU, that Warriors versus Toronto thing, but we couldn't actually use the myplayer builder for the first like 48 hours of the demo. So now I've got my first chance last night at making some builds, going through and trying out the myplayer builder, which is a lot of fun. I didn't have time to make it last night. I had to get up early this morning, so I kind of saved the video till now. But I've got kind of 3 builds that I'm thinking about using. There is a 4th kind of one, but I've tried to kind of experiment a bit and find players that are kind of good at specific things. Some are overall good, but I like to have a player that accelerates at something, you know, that he's good at something in particular. So we'll start off with my first build, which was a Stephen Curry kind of D'Angelo Russell build, as you can see on the screen. It is a sharpshooting facilitator. This is basically just a ball handler that can shoot really well. It doesn't have the greatest ball handling stats. You can see now the skill breakdown. I chose that pie chart there. It's mainly a shooting pie chart. You can see the 3 points and the mid-range and the free throw all go to a 95, and the post fades on a 94, which is also pretty good as well. The dunking stats, I mean, the driving layup is a 72 on this base is a 72, and the standing dunk and all the driving dunks aren't going to be that good because it is a shooting build. Now you can see lateral quickness is pretty good. I mean, 72. He's not going to be the fastest in the world, but I mean, we can go further into the speed a bit later on. But obviously, this is a pure kind of good shooting badge. Not badge, I should say build. So if you're into that sort of thing, then I highly recommend doing this. But we'll move on to the physical profile real quickly. I chose this one here. I'm not sure which order it is because it's just the screenshots. But this does make my speed an 83. It makes my acceleration 81. My vertical doesn't really matter about my vertical. I'm not really worried about that. It is a 66, and strength isn't something I'm worried about with a sharpshooting play. It's more of a sharpshooter than a playmaker. You can see like the ball handling's only a 78, so the strength is only at a 49. Now moving on to the potential here. I mean, it can be debated. A lot of people like to move it around a bit, move around their potential bars, their maximums. But I maxed out my shooting. I had to do that straight away. I moved up. I also maxed my driving dunk and layup, and I think I can see there I did max my close shot as well. Now defense, I maxed all that perimeter defense. I want to be able to defend the perimeter quite well, especially if there's another pure sharp. I want to be able to get a hand in his face. My steal, I did raise that to the max as well. Block, I didn't really have to worry about. I suppose like a lot of new animations this year. I think stealing is a lot more difficult this year than 2K19. Obviously, there's no bump steals, but blocking, it is pretty important. I could go back, I could change it by the time the new game comes out, but for now, I did actually raise the defensive rebound a little bit, just so I can get those outlet passes as well. But offensive rebound, I don't need to worry about because I am a shooter. I shouldn't be under the ring on offense. But we'll move on to my height, which is 6'3". This doesn't boost anything. It's just the normal average height for the point guard. It's actually the average height for an NBA point guard at the moment. But we'll move on to the rest of the screenshots. Alrighty, here we are with the weight. I did decrease it a little bit from memory to a 190. That made my lateral, it was just a little bit, just so my lateral quickness went up that little bit faster, just so I can get that speed as well. It's now an 83. My wingspan, I increased it a little bit from memory. My ball handling is a 79 now. It went up +1. And I don't think anything changed. I can't see anything changing in the physicals either. And my takeover, I chose a spot-up shooter. I was thinking about doing the shot creator, but I will stick to the sharpshooting. It is a powerful badge, and in 2K, you need to be able to shoot to dominate online, so that is why I chose a spot-up shooter. Alrighty, moving on to the badges. My finishing badges, I only had 1 potential upgrade, and I decided to put it on contact finisher. I could have put it on giant slayer, but I felt contact finisher was a lot better of a choice, just in case I do, you know, come up against some bigger bodies on the park or something, and I need to draw a foul or something, or I need to hit a clutch shot. Now shooting badges, we had 30 potential upgrades, and I wanted to get get as many Hall of Fame badges as I could, but not kind of wasted on Hall of Fame badges. So obviously, Hall of Fame catch and shoot, Hall of Fame difficult shots, Hall of Fame range extender, and Hall of Fame tireless shooter. I felt that was the best for me to do. I did do silver Deadeye. Deadeye isn't like a necessarily a needed badge for a sharpshooter. It is helpful, but I did only put it on silver. I got gold corner specialist, so I can, you know, if I'm open, I can cut to the corner. Gold green machine, gold flexible release, silver steady shooter, and bronze pick and pop. I do like to pick and pop a bit more, just in case, like if I do set a screen for like someone that's a stretch on my team, if I'm on Pro-Am or something, I can pop out to the perimeter and hit that shot as well. Now, my playmaking badges, I had up to 12 potential upgrades. The maximum I could go was only to gold, obviously, because it isn't my main archetype as such. So I got gold ankle breaker, gold needle threader. I want to be able to pass the ball quite well as well. 2 silver badges, tight handles, and downhill. Downhill, obviously, I don't know. The speed at the moment in this demo is pretty bad, to be honest. A lot of people are saying they're too slow, felt like they're stuck in concrete or something. So downhill would be a pretty useful badge. Now 2 bronze badges, dimer and handles for days, just so I can dribble that a little bit more. Now defense and rebounding badges, I only had 6 potential upgrades. Gold pickpocket, it'll be very handy. I do have that kind of 70 to 80 steal rating, so that's good for me. I got silver interceptor and bronze clamps. So that'll be pretty helpful for me. So as you guys can see, that is my kind of Stephen Curry kind of build there. It does say with D'Lo and I can't pronounce his name, Mahmoud Abdul Roof. I don't want to pronounce that wrong. But you know, 3 great shooters there. But we'll move on to my second build, which is my center build. Alrighty guys, this is my center build. It is being compared to Rudy Gobert. That's right, I'd rather be compared to Rudy Gobert than Hassan Whiteside, just for the past few seasons. Obviously, Rudy Gobert winning 2 Defensive Player of the Year awards. So I will compare this build to a Rudy Gobert. It is a glass cleaning lockdown. It's a 7-foot center. So I mean, if I ever need to run online, if my team needs a center, I will be able to pull this guy out if I choose to. But like these 3 choices, these 3 to 4 choices, I want you guys to be able to tell me what you think is the best for me to run, not just on online, but on like my career as well. Like what should I focus around? But yeah, this is being compared to a Rudy Gobert, DeAndre Jordan, and Hassan Whiteside, as you can see on the screen. My skill breakdown, I chose the defensive rebounding pie chart. That is pretty obvious. I got a 95 interior defense, 95 block, 95 offensive rebound, and 95 defensive rebound, and a 95 standing dunk, which is always helpful, especially online if you back down, which is also good. Now my physical profile, I chose the strongest one possible. I want to be able to, you know, body people out of the way. I want to be able to have that kind of set those hard screens, get my teammates open. That's something I always love to do online. Now my potential, I moved all my defensive ratings up as usual. All my inside kind of shooting badges all the way up. My standing dunk all the way up. My free throws are important this year. There's no more free throw ace. It is all based on your rating. There is that, I think, ice in your veins. That badge where you can in clutch situations you're more likely to hit the free throw. But that doesn't matter. Like the 71 rating free throw is really good for a center, especially of this archetype. You think of Hassan Whiteside, DeAndre Jordan, and Rudy Gobert. Those guys don't really have good free throws. So to be able to have a 71, as long as I can time it right, the majority of the time it's going to go in, which is also pretty good. Passing accuracy, I turned it up a little bit. Didn't have to have it too high. It's not a huge thing for me, but if I do have that passing, it is pretty good, especially online as well. Now, my height, as I said before, is 7 foot. Doesn't make any differences. It is the average height. It is the default height when you log on to make your character. So just quickly here, my weight for my center is 250. It is the default. No ratings go up or down, which is good. And my wingspan is 90.1 inches. I think that's up a little bit. It's up on the scale. And my steal rating goes up a little bit. Nothing too big. Steal isn't that important for me. I will say this build was pretty. I didn't really talk about the build before the actual gameplay. I didn't record any of the gameplay. It was pretty fun to use, especially when I got takeover. I think I got it's 4 6-minute quarters. I think I got about 40 something points, and that is with getting subbed off in like the second or third quarter as well. So I did get about 40 to 50 points, which isn't too bad if you equate that to a normal game that's nearly it's about 100 points. I mean, it is like rookie rating though, so that's pretty good. It's a pretty fun build, and it's most likely the one I'm going to choose. Now we'll move on to the badges for my center. Alrighty, for my badges, my finishing badges, I had 15 potential upgrades. I set it to Gawd, back down Punisher. As I said before, that backing down, that standing dunk is really good online. It was very good last year and the year before in 2K18, so I'm expecting it to be pretty good this year as well. Gawd contact finisher, Gawd putback boss, obviously being a good rebounder. Putback is a very important skill in this game, and Gawd relentless finisher, as well as bronze lob city finisher, bronze pick and roller, and bronze pro touch. Pro touch is an interesting badge I found just playing around with it. I think it's the closer you the better timing you have on a shot, the more chance it gives you a little bit of a boost. So if you time it better, it gives you that little bit of a boost that could maybe excel it over. But anyway, we'll move on to the shooting badges. I only had one potential upgrade, and I chose the pump fake maestro. This could be good online, it could be good offline, especially against AI. You know, there's no point having any of the other badges. I have a really weak shooting game with this guy. As I said before, you do need to be able to shoot online, but it is also pretty good to have a good rebounding and lockdown defender under the ring. So pump fake maestro was the one that I chose for my shooting badge. Playmaking badge, only one, and I chose break starter just so I can get those long passes off or have more of a chance, even though it's only on bronze. Now the big thing is defense and rebounding badges. I chose 5 Hall of Fame badges. I got Hall of Fame Intimidator, Pogo Stick, Tireless Defender, Rim Protector, and Rebound Chaser. Now that sounds like a very scary build to me. If I came up against someone like that, it would be pretty scary to drive on them, and it was. I mean, I did play on my 99 max, and I think I got 38 rebounds, which wasn't. It's pretty good, and that's 4 6-minute quarters, 38 rebounds. So I was pretty happy with that. I also got Silver Brick Wall, Silver Chase Down Artist, and Silver Defensive Leader. Defensive Leader is an interesting badge. If you're on the court, you give your entire team a boost to the defensive skills and their attributes, which I found pretty interesting. Now, Bronze Interceptor, Bronze Box, Bronze Post Down Lockdown, Post Move Lockdown, and Bronze Worm, which I really like as well. Now we'll move on to my small forward, which is a pure slashing small forward, I should say. It's a pretty fun build, and it probably was the most fun to play. I had some fancy dunks, some contact dunks. I didn't record any of them, as I said before, but we'll move on. I'll show you guys the entire build. Now, for my small forward, you can see it's being compared to Julius Erving, Jimmy Butler, and DeMar DeRozan. Obviously, Jimmy Butler and DeMar DeRozan aren't like superstars, but Julius Erving was a great player. He was a great slasher back in the day, and it's pretty good to be able to be compared to him. Now, obviously the pie chart I chose was the main finishing pie chart. You can see a 95 max driving dunk, a 93 post hook, 93 driving layup, and a 95 close shot. Now the post moves as well was on a 90, so if I do, get in the post, I will be able to do those spin moves and be able to maybe get contact dunks, which is always good. Defensive badges aren't that high, defensive attributes aren't that high, in the low to high 60s and 70s, and my shooting badges aren't good, or my shooting attributes, I should say, once again, aren't that good. I got a mid-range of 68. It will go in if I shoot it, but not all the time, not as consistently as other builds. Now, my physical profile, I chose the one with the most speed and vertical. That was the two things I was looking at. Strength, I wasn't a huge fan of. I wasn't looking for that. And acceleration, it was important, but speed and vertical, I got 90 vertical, which is very good. good, and an 80 speed, which would be good on the park and on Pro-Am. Now my potential, max out my inside scoring, as you'd expect, max out my outside scoring, just it wasn't that much, just to be able to get that up, and a 78 free throw as well, so if I do get foul driving in, I will be able to get those free throws. Now playmaking, passing accuracy, and ball handling are in the low, or like mid 70s, which is pretty good for a small forward build, and my defensive ratings are, you know, in those 70s as well, so I did kind of max them out as much as I could, and my height is 6'7", so I'll move on to the rest of those little attributes, points, the rest of my weight and my wingspan, and then we'll move on to the badges. So you can see now we've got a 220 pound, it's the default, and it doesn't change anything, nothing goes up, nothing goes down, it is just the default, and my wingspan, I set it to the default as well, 83.8, nothing goes up, nothing goes down. So we'll move on to the badges, and I'll show you guys the pretty good finishing badges that I've chosen. Alrighty, the finishing badges, I got 3 Hall of Fame badges: Hall of Fame contact finisher, Hall of Fame putback boss, and Hall of Fame relentless finisher. Now looking at this now, I probably shouldn't have chose putback boss. I probably could have done it on something else, maybe on consistent finisher, or maybe something else, maybe drop step or something like that, but I did choose to do that. Now gold acrobat and gold lob city finisher is always good, silver giant slayer, silver consistent finisher, silver pick and roller, and silver slithery finisher, and bronze pro touch. Pro touch is always important around the ring. Now my shooting badges, I just did tireless scorer, just so I'd be able to hit those shots when I've got my low stamina. My playmaking badges, I chose gold ankle breaker, so this is a 6'9" small forward that I do have gold ankle breaker on, and I do have Hall of Fame contact finisher. I have gold downhill, so I'll be able to speed up on the fast break, gold quick first step, so I'll be able to get out of the triple threat in a faster way, and bronze post spin technician. As I said before, that post spin, those post moves will be pretty good for me. Now defense and rebounding badges, I've got silver chase down artist, silver rebound chaser, and now I was going to say Hall of Fame, bronze intimidator. Intimidator is just a good badge overall. It lowers the, you know, if you're in the area, if you're in the vicinity of someone that's shooting, you will quote unquote intimidate them, and their rating will go down, their chance of making the shot will go down. So that's my 3 builds. I might do a separate video. Its video is quite long. I will do a separate video. It is a Kevin Durant build, and it did get a comparison to Kevin Durant, so I will make a separate video on that. Everything I did kind of base it off some other YouTubers, some guys that did do it. I did change a lot of the things, though. I changed a lot of the badges, changed a few of the attribute points as well, so I will go through and I will show you guys that Kevin Durant in a separate video. So guys, please tell me what you think I should run with for not only online but my main mycareer guy. I'll try grind to this person. Obviously I don't know if it's going to be like a legend 5 this year. I don't know what the rank system's going to be online. I know that the harder you play, the better you play in games, the higher your overall goes. That was teased in the trailers, but guys, tell me what I should be down below. It's either the sharpshooting playmaker compared to Steph Curry, the rebounding lockdown that was compared to Rudy Gobert, or the slashing small forward that was compared to Julius Erving. So those are the 3 choices, guys. Tell me what I should be down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.